Alright, y'all, so we back on here with another episode of that Indigo podcast, and now we on episode 13. See, I remember this time. I remember. But today we're going to be talking about what I think separates the best runners from other runners. So, I'm going to just get straight into it. The first one, I think, is attention to detail and doing the basics. I mean, doing the basics, like the little small things, it's not the prettiest thing. Like, a lot of people think it's boring. I don't think it's boring personally, but, overall it's kind of boring, quote unquote, and they overall compound in the long run. That's why it's the most important. And whenever you have a training program as a runner, it's important to know like what the purpose and the goal behind the workouts is. So let's say like you're doing like uh a 5 mile tempo at like marathon pace. Obviously the purpose is to get you in the mode of marathon pace. So when you run the actual marathon, you've had experience of running that pace, so you're familiar with it. So just knowing like the main goal and the gist of the workout. But the thing is with paying attention to detail, like I think there is a fine line. Like you don't need to meticulously like am I doing this and blah blah blah. Like you need to be intentional, but not to the point where it freaks you out to like not even doing the work. You don't want to meticulously worry, but you need to, there needs to be attention to detail. That's what I'm trying to get at. And also that applies with nutrition, fueling around your workouts. Like okay, like if I have a big workout the next day, I might eat more carbs. In the morning I might have a pre-workout snack higher in carbs, eating enough protein so you can recover, things like that. Then also like sleep, obviously that's kind of falls into recovery, kind of like, sleep, am I sleeping enough, rolling out your legs, rolling out your feet with a massage ball, stuff like that. You can have massage boots if you got buku money. And then just stress management, like daily stress, like daily stressors, trying to keep that at bay for the most part. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of what I was trying to say for that. But the second one, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but consistency. Yeah, like this applies to everything. Like I'm not about to harp on consistency because I've said this a billion times. But like, bro, I mean, if you're inconsistent, you'll get inconsistent results. It's pretty, like I'm not gonna really go deep into that, but consistency, like just showing up day in and day out, hitting your workouts, hitting your splits at the best of your ability, showing up day in and day out, you know, just being consistent is gonna make like I think consistency, like for running especially for me, like because I've seen it the most in like running and lifting. It makes the world of a difference. If you just show up day in and day out, you'll see results. It will take time, but over time you'll see if you keep pushing. So consistency, like that's my number one. Consistency for sure. Like in terms of running, because I live that. I see that. So yeah, I'd say consistency. So then we going on to the third one. Be a lifelong learner. This didn't hit me until junior year, because just learning to adapt and pivot. When you hear things coaches say and things other skilled runners, well, skilled is subjective, but other like runners that are doing pretty good for them. Just hearing how they do things and things they don't do. Maybe how they fuel their workouts, things like that. It's just cool to, obviously you want to stay in your own lane somewhat, like trying to just see your goals and what works for you, but it's also good to learn other things outside of your hemisphere, kind of put yourself in other situations. But I just want to preface, don't take advice from everyone. Not everyone knows like what it is you're trying to achieve in terms of running. And, it's all subjective. Like my pace might be slower than someone else's, but my pace might be faster than someone else. It's my pace, exactly. So I mean, it's all subjective. At the same time, you want to always be open to learn. That's the main thing I'm trying to say there. This one, I feel like this is a big one too. Um, Gratitude. By gratitude, I mean like just being grateful of the progress you've made. Cause like for me, I think my first mile, like my first like timed mile, I ran like in September 2021. I think it was like a little bit post quarantine. I ran like 8:16, like all out, and my fastest one to date is 5:25. But I mean, there's people that will smoke me if I went on the track, and like let's say like the world record holder for the mile. If I ran an all out mile with him, he'd smoke me. But if I ran with someone who runs like a 10 minute minute per mile pace, I'd smoke them. It's all subjective. So just looking at where you came from and things you're able to do that you weren't able to do, and you might have thought that you weren't gonna ever be able to do it. That's the main thing. Just being grateful for just enjoying the process more than the destination. I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, I want to like get to this end goal. I want to run this time," but just enjoying and enduring the process. I think that's the main thing you want to, be in the mode of when you're in the sport of running, cuz running, I mean, it's ups and downs just like, how life is. So, just being able to be content but not complacent. And then the last one, I would say this is another big one. I would say effort, because it kind of goes along with attention to detail and knowing what the purpose of the workout is. 'Cause like, for me, I run a little bit, like I'm a long distance runner now. So, uh, you have your easy runs. So like it might be 3 miles, 4 miles, 5 miles, 6 miles, whatever. And the main gist of that is base building, zone two running, building your aerobic base. That's the main thing. It's not super high effort. It's like kind of a conversational pace. You just, kind of like a faster jog, not too crazy, but not like a walk. And then, you might have a tempo run where it's like pretty close to your like a 5K pace or something, like pretty close to your race pace. And it's definitely a harder effort. Like I wouldn't say like it's like you're running 200s or 400s, but it's a hard effort sustained for a longer period of time. And then you have your track workouts. So for me, I'd probably do like 800-meter repeats. That'll probably be at like my 5K pace, because that's the distance I'll be running in cross country. Uh, I would say in terms of effort, track workouts definitely like take the most effort, especially if you're like, because I used to run the 400s, so like I would do like 150s, maybe 100s, 300. I did a lot of 300s, 350s, 450s. It's pretty much a dead sprint. So, but the thing is, I think people go wrong with running sometimes is running your easy days hard and running your hard days easy. Like they get it flipped. That's another thing. If you know the purpose, you probably won't do that. Because the easy runs, the point isn't to kill yourself. The point is to log miles and build the base. And then with the track workouts and the harder stuff is to, get after and go out there and, rip some stuff. So, just knowing when to go, pretty much all out, and then when to, base build and build the base. So, yeah, I think just effort, knowing when to bring certain efforts is really important. But yeah, another guy, I'm gonna just throw this in here because I threw up something on Instagram, and he's like, how do I feel about cross? I just want to answer it right now because I don't know how to think about it. Like, I really like cross country. Like, I feel like with cross country, it's kind of more of my lane, because when I was training for the 4, I was doing 2-3 mile. At one point, I was doing 4 mile runs, and that's kind of foreign if you run a 400. You're like, because a 400 is pretty much a sprint. I mean, it's just one lap, pretty much a dead sprint. Well, not literally. Some people think the 400 is a dead sprint. Not really. I mean, I'm gonna explain how you run a 400. Well, how I ran it when I was running it. So you get out for like 6 seconds. You hold that, and you hold that throughout the straight. You're just staying tall, blah 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 blah. And then when you like creep up on the curve, you start picking it up like progressively. You don't want to pick it up right at the 200 mark. So you slowly pick it up to the 300 mark. And then the last 100 is pretty much at any race. The last like 100 meters, dead sprint, like all out. So anyway, yeah, I feel like it's more my lane. I mean, I was doing 2, 3 to 4 mile runs when I was training for the 4, and I mean, I knew I was gonna end up running distance. It's just like it was kind of just delayed. Like it just didn't happen. So I ran the 800. Then when I ran the 800, I'm like, yeah, it's set in stone. It's wraps. I'm doing this. Then I ran the mile, and I was like, yeah, for sure. And then now we're training for cross country. So I'm just really excited to see where it takes me, and I'm really happy with it. I think it's definitely more of my lane, and I think I can thrive in this. So, and I know cross country is infamous for the environment, community. So I'm just curious to see what that entails. But yeah, this is what I think. This is just what I thought that separates the best runners from the others, and just hope that gave y'all some insight on running. But that's episode 13. I'll see y'all next time.